I'll tell you, I've never felt more alive heading into week 5. Who feels me? But this week, we are finally going to implement your not to do intention on the scoreboard, which I'm going to share in greater detail in an additional video as you prepare for our next week together. But in this video, which is essentially one part of a 2-part series in transition into our second month, we're going to discuss how our behaviors, habits, the be, do, have model, and yes, your identity all tie in together. It's a psychological NLP model that's been around for, almost 70 years. It's called the logical level. And as we walk through this together, through an exercise demonstrating its power of sequential order, it's going to be completely obvious why you haven't created what you truly want in your own life. Because this completely opened my eyes and perspective when I first learned it, and I'm honored to be able to share this with you today. So let's take an opportunity to write this down. As a matter of fact, I've already got a starter page ready for you to go. It's attached here. It should be easy to find. However, if you can't find it, just grab a clean sheet of paper or a pen, a writing utensil, and get prepared. So let's get started. Let's draw out a triangle. Right on the center of your page, draw out a big triangle, just like so. And you'll notice, as I'm illustrating here, there are going to be 4 horizontal lines going through the triangle like this. These are like rungs on a ladder, and they differentiate the levels of logic. At the top, at the peak space of the triangle, I want you to write down the word environment. Just like this. Below that word environment, I want you to write down the word behavior. Again, it's like rungs on a ladder. Now you'll also start noticing as you're writing this down, just the power of merely writing this down. It's visually explaining this concept. Now below behavior, write down the word skills. Now in NLP, which stands for neuro-linguistic programming, these 2 words, or there are 2 words that are typically used. It's skills or capabilities, but we're using skills for this demonstration. But below that, I want you to write down the word beliefs. So below that then, below beliefs, I want you way at the bottom, at the foundation of the pyramid, I want you to write down that great word, identity. Now, this word might sound fresh in your mind, right? Because this is a transition from previous modules. Because here's what's interesting. Back in the 1950s, a social psychiatrist named Gregory Bates had come up with this logical level model. So let's discuss its prevalence with us in our time together. As you started writing this out, you might have already started noticing some things, right? Because I want you to go to the word behavior, right underneath environment, and I want you to go ahead and circle that word behavior. Because I want you to take a look at that word. If you're like most people that want to make a change in their life, they immediately go to take an action of doing or doing multiple things. That's where people start, is at the level of behavior, right? Do you agree? So let's use, again, the example of working out. January, it's the beginning of the year. Most everybody is making that promise to themselves. This is going to be the year. I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to go get my life back. They go to join the gym the first week of the year, just as everybody else does. Come to the end of January, into the new year, 3-4 weeks in, what percentage of people are still committed to going to the gym? 10%? It's a small number. Why is that? Because they're trying to do something, meaning get their gym clothes ready, get in the car, go to the gym in order to create the outcome that they want. They're trying to do something to get the outcome that they want. But no one ever thinks and says and asks, okay, that's my behavior. But I want you to go down to the bottom of the pyramid and circle identity. Now look at that. What's the identity of the person that's working out? Let's say the identity of the person working out is, you know what? I can't stick to anything. That's a characteristic that they believe they have. You can also circle beliefs, because they do go hand in hand. The belief might be from this person, well, I am a person, which is identity, that can't stick or commit to anything. Now, how effective, if you look back at the top of the pyramid, how effective is the behavior going to be when the belief doesn't align with the identity or the behavior? And they're telling themselves that I'm a person that can't stick to anything. Oh, and by the way, let's go to environment. I don't want to miss this because that's your physical world. That's your physical body and the objective outcome that you desire to create. And if you're not getting that outcome that you want at your level of environment, it's not because of what you're doing, which most people put all their attention to. You remember the fruits on the tree and the tree of life? It's all about who you are being at the identity level. Now, I trust this makes some sense in putting everything together that we've been discussing. But the big takeaway that I want to convey here as we continue the transformation game together is being, and how your being is the genesis of what you create, your environment. And in order to transform your life, you can't simply just do things. That doesn't work, because your doing is only as effective as the being doing the doing. And so what you must do to create long-term sustainable change is transform who you are from the inside. How your being will determine what you create at your environment level. It's going to be your level of identity that's going to create that, and your belief. So, see, we've been working backwards for far too long. So the question that you have to ask yourself as we venture forward, and again, it's repeating from our be, do, have model in our module we went through, is what ways do you have to be, and how do you have to be to show up your best in serving you? Let's go find out. I'll see you on the inside.